Hi, and thanks for joining me on the video today. Now, what I want to talk with you about is something, well, it's very important. It's very important for your life. And before I even get into what we're going to talk about on this video, what I want to make sure is that, if you feel the temptation that you want to shut off the video because what I'm talking about gets to be a little uncomfortable for you, resist the temptation. Now, I hope this has made you curious as to what I'm talking about. No, it's not controversial, and certainly it's not bad or negative. What it is, though, it's a subject that is very uncomfortable for a lot of people, and they'd rather turn it off than even face it. And what we're going to talk about today is about getting wealthy, about actually getting rich. And so don't turn it off, because the thing you have to check in with is, if you feel like you want to turn it off, is why is it that you don't want to face this? Or why is it that you have a problem with talking about money or wealth or getting rich? The truth is that if you look at society, if you look at history, since the beginning of mankind, since human beings ever existed on the planet, there has always been some kind of monetary system throughout all the societies. So if you think about all the way back to the cave person day, well, they might have traded furs or certain shaped stones or, something, but there was some form of trade, because before there was that, well, pretty much we were on our own, wandering around by ourselves, and we realized that system didn't work very well, being by ourselves, because number one, it was lonely, but the other part is that, well, you had to do everything by yourself. So think about that. You had to catch your food, grow your food, different kinds of food, prepare your food, shelter, clothes, and that would have been on a daily basis. So as we got together in tribes, and then pretty soon towns and cities and the rest of those things, if you look back to the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Greeks, the Mayans, all the civilizations that we're digging up now in history, well, you'll notice that they all had a monetary system, and the reason being is because there had to be some form of fair trade, because otherwise you had to carry some live chickens around in order to trade for some grain, and then you had to trade for some shelter, and you had to trade for some clothes, and that was a hard thing to do. So there's always been a monetary system. So it's what we're talking about is nothing evil, it's nothing bad. Matter of fact, money's a great thing. And the reason I say that is because, well, when you make money and you go buy something, well, the person who sold that to you, whether it was a product, a service, or idea, well, they now get to go spend the money on their family and education and trips and nice home and whatever that is. And whoever they bought those things from, well, they now get to. So as you see, the more money that we earn, the more money that we get to spend, the more quality of life that ripples out for more people to have, to give even to more people, and so on and so forth. So wealth is a good thing. And yet, we have so many people that it's very uncomfortable. Now, by the way, wealthy people don't have any problem talking about money. They have no problem talking about being rich. They have no problem talking about being wealthy. Only people who don't have it usually have a problem. And by the way, that is the problem. See, because if you're not going to address it, there's no way you're going to change your situation. And I'm not talking about just money right now. Because the truth is, in order to have a completely enriched life, right? Enriched, rich is in there. In order to have an enriched life, in order to have a fulfilled life, well, wealth is part of that. Because, if you think about the three areas that make our life up, the totality of who we are. So that would be body, mind, and spirit. Well, all three of those areas need to be fulfilled in order to have a completely fulfilled life, right? So if you only take care of the body and you're not taking care of the mind or the spirit, well, then obviously, you feel very hollow. It's, not enriched. It's just one area. And if you can only work on your spirituality, but you're poor and you're struggling financially and you're worried about paying bills, or you live in a squalid life, well, that's not very fulfilling either. And same thing with the mind, if we're not working on growing our mind. Because the natural order of the universe is for everything in the universe to seek to reach its highest potential, which means to evolve. And as soon as we're evolving, we feel great. It feels great to make yourself better in all areas of your life. So that's why we're going to work on all those areas. And you'll notice that wealth helps, us grow in those areas. First, if you think about your body, joining a gym costs money, right? Now you can say, yeah, I can exercise at home. That's fantastic. And, by the way, do it. But also do you have the time to do that? Because a lot of people are so busy working, trying to pay their bills, that they don't actually have the real time to do the exercise even at home. Or even with their kids. Maybe you could have somebody watch your kids. You could afford to have somebody watch your kids as you exercised. So as you see, there's a wealth in there. And let's say you want to eat organic food. And I hear this from people all the time. God, organics are so expensive. Man, you can't believe how expensive organics are. Well, they're not expensive when you're wealthy. See, because then you can afford the good food. Also is stress on your body. That's not a good thing. Well, stressing out over paying the bills and the mortgage and wondering if you can make ends meet and thinking about your future and your retirement, that's not healthy, right? So it takes an amount of wealth for doing that. Working our mind, in order to be able to afford going to university, going to schools, going to seminars, workshops, traveling around the world, having experiences where you learn. One of the best things I've ever done in my life for education is travel. Luckily, I do that with business and also for pleasure with my family. Yet when you go around the world and you get to meet other cultures and sample their lifestyle and their food and the rest of those things. And yet you might say, well, I can do that on economy. That's great. But the thing is, that's not the whole picture. See, wealthy people can backpack, but backpacking people can't fly first class or can't stay in a 5-star hotel or whatever. Now you might not say, well, I don't need those things, but the fact is that when you have wealth, you have choice. See, backpackers have less choice than the wealthy person, because the wealthy person can do what the backpacker does, but the backpacker can't do what the wealthy person does. And what we want in this lifetime is freedom, financial freedom, right? Well, the thing is that the more wealth you create for yourself, the more choices you get, and the more choices you get, the more freedom you have. And the truth is, there are some experiences in this life, in this world, that cost. Okay, are you going to miss out on those? Just because you're saying, well, I don't have to have those, I can be happy with these. Okay, that's okay with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And remember, I'm not knocking anybody's life. My way of teaching is always about how do we make this better, right? And so we can educate ourselves and have mental and spiritual growth by wealth. And I will also tell you is that the biggest reason why people are stressed out in this lifetime is money issues. And the most consumed drug on the planet are called antidepressants. People are so stressed out and depressed over their future, over what's going to happen in their future, their retirement, stressed out over everyday living and the pressures of bills and the rest of those things. The cost of living is going up. Here in Australia, people are angry because the banks aren't passing on the interest rates. When the interest rates lower, the bank's not doing it, and people are angry. Well, the crazy thing is when you're wealthy, it doesn't bother you that much. You go, okay, so there's a point difference in the interest or whatever, so what? I can handle it. See, as you notice, wealth gives you the ability. Now, I'm not talking about wealth is the only thing. I'm talking about a holistic success. And so in my program, The Roadmap to Rich, it really is about how do you handle this area of your life. And by the way, I'm not here to teach you about shares and stock market. I'm not here to teach you about property developing or any of that. I'm going to teach you how do you get really, really, really rich, and in a scientific way. This is not motivation. This is not positive thinking. This is the real tactical, specific science for how do you produce real wealth in your life. And how do I know it's a real science? Well, besides that I've done it for myself, and I've helped thousands, tens of thousands of people around the world to change their condition in life. And by the way, as you know me, not just about wealth, but holistically, their whole everything in life. Well, the thing is that, let's do a little bit of history here for a moment again, and that is the word universe, where we all live, right? We all live in the universe. What that word means is everything. Everything. It means everything. Everything's in the universe. It means everything, all inclusive, right? Well, there are laws that apply in the universe, which means to everything, and they apply to everything in everything. So the laws of the universe apply to everything. So like as an example, you'll probably know about the law of gravity. Well, whether you want to ignore the law of gravity, whether you don't know about the law of gravity, whether you're ignorant to it or not, doesn't matter, the law still applies. So what I mean by that is that if you and myself and a 2-month-old baby and somebody from another country, we all walked off a 10-story building, well, we're all going to hit the ground. The baby, just because the baby's ignorant to the law, never knows about the law, was never educated to it, it happens, right? We might say, well, that's cruel. Well, it's just a law, right? Nobody's being cruel. It's just the law of gravity. Applies to everything. So there's laws in the universe that apply to everything. And one of those laws that I'm talking about now is called the law of cause and effect. And that means that every cause creates an effect, right? Every action creates a certain result. And so that also means that any result that you have or that you want is a byproduct of a certain action being taken. And so being wealthy is a byproduct of certain actions. And it's very specific, and when you do the actions, well, you're guaranteed the result because cause and effect. And the cool thing about wealth is what you can do with it. Not only can you have a better life, but you can help so many other people have a better life. Because I want you to think about every charitable organization, the Red Cross, the Cancer Society, Leukemia Society, orphanages, people helping underprivileged people, people feeding starving kids, whatever it is, what's the number one thing that all those organizations are looking for? It's called funding. See, because they know that in order to help people, you need wealth, right? And so in the new program that's coming up in November, from the 25th to the 27th of November, here on the Sunshine Coast of Australia in Mooloolaba. By the way, right on the beach, the location is going to be, well, we're not actually on the beach, but a hotel right across from the beach, beautiful, stunning. These are going to be the 3 days. They're going to be the most powerful 3 days you've ever experienced. A game changer, right? You're going to learn how to change your life in all areas. And by the way, these are the same strategies that you put into place that you can work on every area of your life. So you want a great relationship? It's actually the same formula, cause and effect. The same thing for being healthy, cause and effect. Yet the reason we're focusing on this program towards wealth and wealth creation is because it is the number one reason why relationships break up, is money issues. People love each other. They want to spend the rest of their lives with each other, but the pressure of the financial downfalls, of bills having to be paid, of dreams not being fulfilled, the pressure is too much and the relationship can't make it, right? And like I said before, the number one reason why people are stressed out is money issues. It keeps coming back to the same thing. And it's one of those areas that some people are so uncomfortable to talk about. Yeah, we're going to change that. We're going to change it in you. So 3 days going to change your life. The best investment you've by far ever made, the most powerful program you've ever experienced is the Roadmap to Rich. And I encourage you to be here with me. Change your life. Change the people's lives around you. I got to tell you, I've been homeless. I've lived in my car. It's not a glamour story. It's not a seminar story. It's not even glamorous when you're doing it. It's terrible. And I lived in my car in Los Angeles for over a year at a time. And I've done it multiple times. It's not fun. So I'm not talking to you from the place of, I don't understand what poverty feels like. Poverty sucks. And you might go, well, I'm not poor, I'm middle class. That's worse. Why is that worse? Well, because, middle class, you kind of get used to what seems like a comfortable life, yet the middle class is the most vulnerable. You know, when the economy takes a turn, when things happen, they're the people who lose their homes. They're the person who lose their cars. They're the people who are most stressed out. The people who are like really poor, I guess, they don't even know anything changed, and people who have wealth can ride out the storm, right? So don't fall into a false sense of security that just because I'm middle class and things are okay right now, that's not the same as it being dynamically great. Make sense? So I look forward to seeing you at the program. And by the way, we have an early bird special. Normally, you'll see on the page here, normally tickets are $9.95, and until October 15th, we have an early bird special where it's only $7.95 to get your ticket to the Roadmap to Rich program. That includes all 3 days, all the materials that come with it. Also, I recommend that you bring your partner if you're in a relationship, or bring somebody with you. Why? When you're on the same page, when you're thinking the same thoughts, when you're vibrating the same energy, you can bounce ideas off each other. It gets dynamically more powerful. And to entice you to do that, to bring your partner with you or bring your close friend with you, normally, like I said, it would be $9.95 a person. It's $7.95 for an individual. It's only $1,290 for the two people to come together, which is now $645 a person at that point. Plus, we're also going to include the Roadmap to Rich navigation system, which is our online course, so that you can continue building on this, keeping it in your mind. It's the online program of Roadmap to Rich. That goes for $1,995. We're going to include that in your early bird ticket. Right? Now, by the way, after October 15th, the bonus goes away, and so does the lower price. Plus, there's also going to be a Facebook closed group for the Roadmap to Rich alumni people, and it's about having that consistent thought, having people to network with. And look, if you go, I don't know, I've gone to everything before, I know all this stuff. If you're not financially free, you do not know it. It's the truth. Because if you did, you'd be doing it, and you wouldn't be where you are right now. Face the truth. I'm not insulting you. You've done great to where you are right now. What I'm talking about is how do you make your life better, and how do you make it amazing? Because this whole life, the purpose of this life, is to make it the best possible. To have the best time ever while you're here. So at the end of your life, you look back and you go, this was awesome. Man, was I fulfilled. Man, did I help people around me. Everybody around me had a great time because we played full out. That's what this life's all about. And remember, the natural order of the universe is for everything in the universe to seek to reach its highest potential. That means to evolve. Because in life, either you evolve or you dissolve. Nothing stays the same. You're either growing or decaying. And like I told you, in this program, we are going to work on the very exact specifics of how do you become enriched. How do you have an enriched life? And I'm not just being up in the clouds now, holistically, and yet really, how do you be financially wealthy? And I'm not here to sell you anything. So I'm not selling you properties or shares. This is the scientific formula, strategy, action steps, specific, so that you become wealthy. You're going to love this program. Click below, register right now. We have very, very limited seating. We will not be back in Australia this year with the program, and next year we're on tour around the world with it. So come to the Roadmap to Rich. I look forward to seeing you there. Take the action right now. Don't put it on the back burner. Don't settle in and go years later going, God, I should have listened to that Carrick Ashley guy. Why didn't I listen to him back then? Don't have that regret. Take the action right now. I look forward to seeing you at the program. Until I do, have a most outstanding day.